2020 was a strange year for us all, but it was business as usual for the NFL. Well, kind of. I mean, with less fans. We saw season-ended injuries, rookies restore hope to their franchises, regression, progression, hot starts and cold finishes, controversy, and a battle between the future and the past. I can't wait to see what 2021 has in store for us watchers of the NFL. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Baroshmo, just in case you did not know so, and these are the top 10 quarterbacks going into the 2021 NFL season. Number 10, Matthew Stafford. There will be a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to Stafford getting the lingo and the playbook down, much like there was for Tom Brady in Tampa, and I think that ended pretty well last year. But Stafford is such a big upgrade over Jared Goff, and it should allow Sean McVay to open up the playbook a bit more, especially when it comes to throwing downfield. Stafford's just simply better in that department. Looking at the last two seasons on passes of 20 yards or more, Goff was 31 of 101 for 4 touchdowns and 6 interceptions on those such throws, while Stafford was 51 of 123 for 13 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. Stafford will also finally have a top defense. Over the 12 seasons of his career in Detroit, he only had a top 20 defense 4 out of those 12 seasons, and only one of them was a top 5. The others were, well, 15 or worse. So, yeah, not saying much, but I think Stafford, he's going to enjoy having a top defense. Is going to take some of that pressure off of him in the offense. I expect Stafford to be really good this year. Number 9, Lamar Jackson. After a year like 2019, the MVP season for Lamar Jackson, and I was saying this after the year, expect some regression. It was such a good year for Lamar Jackson. He is still one of the most dynamic players in the league right now, coming off of back-to-back 1,100-yard rushing seasons for a quarterback. That's insane. Baltimore, they also bring in Keith Williams as their new pass game coordinator. He's worked with the likes of Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. And I think that should really open up the passing game as they move away from Greg Roman and his more simplistic route concepts. So with all that being said, I think we could expect a big year potentially for Lamar Jackson. Be on the watch. If anything, still he's one of the toughest quarterbacks to game plan around. Oh man, I'm fumbling. Much like Lamar Jackson. Woo! Shots fired. Number 8, Ryan Tannehill. As a Dolphins fan, it is hard to see Tannehill succeed in Tennessee. I mean, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for him. I'm just, as a Dolphins fan, it's like, man, we used to have that. Now, yes, Ryan Tannehill, he's helped out by having a very solid offensive line, probably the best running game in the NFL, but this dude's play has been on the cusp of elite since moving to Tennessee. On straight dropbacks, we're not including screens, we're not including play actions, on straight dropbacks over the last 2 seasons. He has thrown for over 4,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions. His ability to extend plays with his legs has been great. As well, just looking at last year, while being pressured, he has thrown for 40 first downs, 10 touchdowns. With a 3rd season of similar play, I think it's going to be hard to deny that Ryan Tannehill is not a top 10 quarterback in this league. I mean, really, Ryan? I'm happy for you. I'm happy. I just miss you. Number 7, Deshaun Watson. Yes. I feel guilty not including him on this list, and I know I said guilty, because we know why people probably won't include him on this list, because he's likely not going to play next year. We know the controversy going on around Deshaun Watson, but there's no denying how good he is while he's on the field. Just going back to last season, in spite of everything, having one of the worst defenses, having one of the worst rushing games, losing one of the best receivers in the league. Thank you, Bill O'Brien. I'm sure that was a good trade in your eyes. He put up a banger year despite that, throwing for over 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. Again, yes, I know he probably won't play, but if he does, he is still a top 10, maybe top 5 quarterback in the league, and I just felt it didn't feel right not to include him in this list. Number 6, Josh Allen. Man, Allen's development from 2019 to 2020 was just insane. As he took this nice little level of progression of development from 2018 to 2019, it was like he got in an elevator and shot up like 20 stories. That's how good his play was. Now, much like with Lamar Jackson in his MVP season, we need to expect regression. Last year was such a good year for Josh Allen. Really down is the only way to go. The only question is, how big will that regression be? His accuracy was always one of his worst traits in 2018, in 2019. And it actually was one of his strengths. He was among the top in terms of accuracy. When you do, I think he was 6th in adjusted completion percentage, which is just bonkers. The guy is good, but also keep in mind, he was 2nd in turnover-worthy plays, only behind Carson Wentz, who, if you're not surprised, didn't make the list. So I'm just saying, if he regresses in any which area, I imagine it's because that accuracy takes a hit. Maybe those turnover-worthy plays actually turn into turnovers. There's no denying Allen has huge upside. And the Bills, they've done a good job of surrounding him with a ton of talent. So if that regression ends up to only be minuscule, then watch out. Allen, easily top 10 quarterback in this league. But if you haven't already, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And wait till the end. I'm going to go over some honorable mentions. So hang on with me. But let's keep going to number 5. Dak Prescott. A season-ending injury derailed the hot start that Dak had going last year. But I think there's no denying he's one of the most consistently good quarterbacks in the league since entering the league in 2016. He's 42-27 as a starter. The only question is Dak elite? And I've always been in the boat of, hey, don't pay Dak, just draft a quarterback on a rookie deal. It's nice and cheap. Just because I was scared the Cowboys, they would be strapped in terms of cap space. They wouldn't be able to bring in or retain their talented players. And as we learned this last offseason, no one cares about cap space. So they paid Dak. That's great. He returns to a very good Cowboys offense that is going to constantly need to bail out a very bad Cowboys defense. So I think Dak, he's going to go ahead. He's going to play. He's going to prove a lot of naysayers wrong. And he's helped out by the fact that he plays in the NFC East, which, yeah, Washington's kind of scary, but that's it. I'm sure I'm going to get flack for that. Number 4, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was cooking. He was cooking in the first half of last season. And then the second half happened and not so much. He was actually he was the most sacked quarterback during that span. And that's kind of been a case for Russell Wilson throughout his career there in Seattle. Only once did his team finish outside of the top 10 when it came to most sacks allowed. That was in 2014. Now he's dealing with not so great defense there in Seattle. But despite all that, he has always been among the elite at the quarterback position. He's only missed the playoffs once since he's been drafted. The guy is talented. Just to see what Russell Wilson does in spite of how mediocre the rest of his team is, it just proves why the quarterback position is so valuable. That a quarterback of Russell Wilson's caliber, what he could do with just I'm going to say it again, mediocre team. Yeah, they got some nice players here and there, but pass rush coverage, offensive line, you know the drill. Now let's talk about the elite quarterbacks in the league. And we talking elite, we're talking number 3, Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. Yes, I know he's surrounded by a great defense, a plethora of playmakers on offense, but Brady is the glue that brings it all together. While I think the two guys that I have in front of him are currently better in terms of At least in terms of ability, it can't be undervalued what it means to have someone the caliber of Tom Brady, someone the caliber of the GOAT himself in your organization. He may not be Brady prime, but even Brady now is vastly better than a lot of signal callers in the league. Last season, he had 15 touchdowns when including the playoffs, which was the most since that legendary, almost perfect season he had in 2000. I guess them 72 Dolphins are the only perfection. That's right. It's the only reason I like the Giants. They helped the Dolphins hold on to that. That's the only thing as a Dolphins fan I could hang my hat on. And best believe I'm going to hang it. Anyway, good for you, Tom Brady. Whatever. Let's move on to number 2. Aaron Rodgers, man. The once host of Jeopardy is playing like it's 2016 again, man. He has the Midas touch, making playmakers out of everybody, out of the likes of Robert Tonya, Alan Lazard, MVS. I mean, wherever he plays next year, that's right, I'm saying, wherever he plays next year, fortunately, it might not be in Green Bay, but it could be. That team's instantly a Super Bowl contender. Maybe outside of Houston, anywhere else, he's fine. But no one was quicker at getting the football out last season than Aaron Rodgers. And he did that while also just being incredibly efficient downfield, throwing for 14 touchdowns to 1 interception on throws of 20 yards or more. Nobody was throwing Rodgers off his timing or rhythm last year, man. He was in the zone outside of that one lone game against Tampa Bay at the beginning of the year. But don't worry, Rodgers, he got his revenge in the NFC Championship game where on 4th down he scored a touchdown and then a 2-point conversion to tie the game up. Oh, wait, that didn't happen because Matt LaFleur decided to kick a field goal. I could see why he wants out of Green Bay. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. The dude is just special. Just special. Go back to the Super Bowl where he'd be like, yeah, he lost the Super Bowl. Go back to early in the 4th quarter and take a look at the type of throws he did on 3rd and 4th down near the goal line. They were incredible. He made those throws under pressure on 3rd down in the midst of a sack. Literally throwing one to the corner of the end zone where only his receiver could get it, and it was a tough catch and it was dropped. But then the other, scurrying away from pressure, making a throw while horizontal in the air, mind you, and he puts it on the money to his running back only to be dropped. He's incredible. No quarterback in the league is making those throws with that type of precision under that type of duress. Yes, at times he could drift back into the pocket a bit like he's in Madden or NCAA. But he's very good at extended plays with his legs. In terms of his arm talent, it's unparalleled. I'm down to live with if he wants to get a video game-esque once in a while. We're watching greatness. Grab your popcorn, get a drink, sit back, enjoy. Patrick Mahomes is phenomenal, and he is my best quarterback heading into the 2021 season. Let's talk some quick honorable mentions so I don't get too many people pissed off at me. Kyler Murray, he started the season hot. Second half of the season was kind of whatever, man. Cliff Kingsbury, if Cliff Kingsbury would actually design plays to where Murray could attack downfield, he could easily be on this list, man. Murray is very, very good. Baker Mayfield, man, in his first year under Stefanski, he looked great. I expect him to be on easily a top 12 quarterback. Matt Ryan, he might be losing Julio. It's a big factor of why he kind of edged out, Matthew Stafford kind of edged out him for the 10th spot. But Matt Ryan's amazing. And of course, we got our Justin Herbert, our Joe Burrow. But Herbert, I'm kind of expecting regression. A lot of the categories he led statistically, which were like third down, throws on third down, throws under pressure, like he was very good at, and those are kind of volatile. So I just expect some regression from him. I think it's to be expected, especially with fans coming back. Joe Burrow, he's still behind a very suspect offensive line. And how can I not include Fourth quarter, Kirk Cousins on the list. Let me tell you, fourth quarter, Kirk Cousins be in the top 5. It's just unfortunate that, well, those first 3 quarters happen. Kirk Cousins easily is like a top 15 quarterback in the league. He's just not a top 10 one. But let me know who would be on your top 10 list in the comment section below. Thanks for hanging out with me, and until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.